SpaceX just sent a bunch of billionaires up into space to play around. But the real news is how they get internet up to that mission. Let's get to it. Space.com is buzzing with how SpaceX's Polaris Dawn private mission sent astronauts 870 miles up. This is further than any manned mission since the Apollo rockets. Then they came down to 450 miles up and did a spacewalk. But there's one part that's really, really cool. Before I get to that, why don't we hear from our sponsor?
Thanks, Alex. I'm Brian from Speedify, and Speedify is an app for all platforms that's designed from the ground up to be the best mobile VPN. So it's secure, and it lets you combine all of your internet connections. Cellular, Wi-Fi, Ethernet, even the cellular connections of devices near you. It's available for phones, computers, and even routers. You can download it from our website, the App Store, or the Play Store. So download it today.
Thanks, Brian. There's another part of this mission, though, that I found much more exciting. It's not in the Space.com coverage or the BBC coverage. It's buried down in the via satellite coverage. From that altitude of 458 miles, they used lasers to communicate down to the Starlink satellites underneath them. They got internet by beaming down to the communication satellites under them. In March of this year, Gwen Shotwell, the president of SpaceX, said the following: "We are going to roll out a capability. We call it plug-in Plasers to commercialize our lasers to put on the satellite systems. We'll roll that out with our new Polaris Dawn mission coming up this summer on the Dragon capsules. So we'll connect Dragon to the internet. I'm really looking forward to having communications to bases on the moon and Starlink around Mars." Bonkers! SpaceX is rolling out a space-based internet service provider to provide internet to other spaceships. But why lasers? The original SpaceX system, the way it works is there are ground stations that beam up to the satellite that then beams the internet right back down to you. So even though it's a space system, most of the time you're actually connecting to an internet connection that's only, a few hundred miles away. And that's why there are big areas that weren't covered. There were only certain regions that were covered for a long time. But a little while ago, SpaceX added lasers to the satellites. So now, if you're in the middle of the ocean or in an airplane and nowhere near a ground station, you can radio up to a satellite and it'll use lasers to hop from satellite to satellite till it reaches one that's over a ground station that can then connect you down to the ground. So this is why now their SpaceX Starlink works in the middle of the ocean for, ships traveling the Atlantic or the Pacific. It's really cool stuff, but it turns out it also opens a space-to-space opportunity. The idea that a laser can come from above, reach down to one of the satellites that can then laser it to some other satellite that's actually above a ground station. This is really cool stuff. If you find this interesting, make sure you check out our discussion video on Starlink, because we get deeper into Starlink's connectivity quirks and how we've rigorously tested Starlink here at Speedify.